If you go on a graphing calculator and graph sin x equals sin y, you will see this. This is nothing but a bunch of lines. And by a bunch, I mean infinite of these. Let's focus on a few. The equation of these lines are given with their respective color. Looking at the last three equations, you might already see the pattern. With the equation sin x equals tan y, you get another fun looking graph. These may look like sine curves, but they aren't. Instead, they are graphs of tan inverse of sin x. They look similar though. With the equation cos x equals cos y, you get a graph pretty similar to sin x equals sin y, but shifted by some amount. And with the equation tan x equals tan y, you get lines having the same slope, but they are offset by pi. In this video, we will derive these general formulae. I won't be mentioning it all the time, but n will be an integer throughout the video. I will be going into detail for these two, and quickly go over the rest. We will be quantifying angles in radians, so I expect you to know it. Just know that pi radians is 180 degrees, thus 2 pi radians is 360 degrees. Let's start off by finding the general formula for the equation sin x equals sin y. By seeing the equation, one obvious solution that comes to mind is x equals y. But since sine is periodic, which means it repeats after certain intervals, we can have many solutions. Let's draw a graph of y equals to sin x and pick a point in the sine curve. The point having the same y coordinate repeats exactly after 2 pi. This is true for any point, so that means if you add 2 pi to the input of sine function, the output doesn't change. We can update our solution to x equals to y plus 2 pi. But the main point is, sine function repeats not only after 2 pi, but 4 pi, 6 pi, 8 pi, and so on. In general, we can say that sine function is the same after any integer multiples of 2 pi. We can update our solution to x equals y plus n times 2 pi, or x equals y plus 2n pi. Now you are probably screaming in your heads that between each 2 pi, we have another point that has the same y coordinate. So sine function repeats not only after 2 pi, but somewhere before that. So we have another family of solution that lies before y plus 2n pi. This is the reason we have minus 1 to the power of an integer in the actual formula. Now let's actually find the solutions. Imagine a unit circle, meaning a circle of radius 1, and a line that emerges from the origin with an angle of theta with the x-axis. This line intersects the circle at point P whose coordinate is xy. Here y equals to sine theta. And this is true because if you make a triangle, the length of the perpendicular is the y coordinate, and since the radius of the circle is 1, the hypotenuse is also 1, then sine theta is y over 1. Now watch what happens when I increase theta by 2 pi. Nothing really. The y coordinate stays the same, therefore sine theta is the same. We already knew that. The point is, this point also has the same y coordinate. Its x coordinate is minus x because it's just a reflection of p about the y axis. It seems that the sine of this angle, let's call it x, is the same as sine theta. But what is x? What we know is this angle is theta. So if you add x and theta, you get 180 degrees, aka pi radians. X comes out as pi minus theta. Therefore sine theta is equal to sine pi minus theta. Okay. Now watch what happens when I add 2 pi to our pi minus theta. Well, y coordinate doesn't change, so it is still equal to sine theta. This evaluates to 3 pi minus theta. If I again add 2 pi, it evaluates to 5 pi minus theta and so on. You see the pattern. Let's just say sine theta is equal to sine n pi minus theta, where n is an odd integer. In our main equation, sin x equals sin y, we can safely write sin y as sin n pi minus y, where n is odd. This looks very similar to our previous family of solution. Let's compare them side by side. Recall what we wrote sin y as. It was sin y plus 2n pi. Here 2n is always even, so let's just write it as n and say it is true only when n is even. For our second family of solutions, we wrote sin y as sin n pi minus y, only when n is odd. Now if you equate the inputs, you get pretty similar results. The only difference is the sign depending on if n is even or odd. We wish to combine these results into one. For that we need something that is positive when n is even and negative when n is odd. Well, we can use minus 1 to the power of n. Then finally our general solution comes out to this. Let's see another way to derive the formula. We can start off by subtracting sin y from both sides. Using this property, we can convert the two sine terms to the product of sine and cos as displayed. For those who don't know how this relation is true, let me show you. Our goal is to reach the right hand side from the left. After writing the left hand side, what to do next? Well, the idea is to write x and y as the following. If you evaluate each, you will see that it just evaluates to x and y respectively. Replace x and y with those to get this equation. Now you can use the formula of sin a plus b and sin a minus b to further expand this. The satisfying part. The first and the third terms cancel out to give our original relation. Returning back to our derivation, we can use the relation explained just before. Let's divide both sides by 2. This results in two terms multiplied together to be 0. In this case, this cos term or this sine term can be 0. Something you should know is when is cos 0 and when is sine 0. Cos theta is 0 when theta is pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 5 pi over 2 and so on. So basically any odd multiples of pi over 2. We can write this as theta equals 2n plus 1 times pi over 2. Similarly, sin theta is 0 when theta is 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi and so on. We can write this as n pi. For our main equation, if we say cos x plus y over 2 is 0, this implies that x plus y over 2 equals 2n plus 1 pi over 2. This can be simplified to the following. Since 2n plus 1 is always odd, let's replace it by n and say it is true only when n is odd. If we say sin x minus y over 2 is 0, this implies that x minus y over 2 equals to n pi. Since 2n is always even, replace it by n and say it is true only when n is even. We can combine these results to get the same general formula. The story is the same to solve cos x equals cos y. A line with an angle of theta with the x-axis. The line intersects the circle at point P. The x-coordinate is cos theta for reasons similar to y is sin theta. What if I increase theta by 2 pi? Its x-coordinate doesn't change, thus still equal to cos theta. Nothing surprising. If I again add 2 pi, again no surprise, x-coordinate doesn't change. So cos theta is equal to cos theta plus integer multiples of 2 pi. This is our first family of solutions. You might have noticed, this point also has the same x-coordinate. The line makes an angle of theta, but it will be negative because we are measuring it clockwise. So cos theta is equal to cos minus theta. We can add any integer multiples of 2 pi without changing anything. Thus cos theta equals cos 2n pi minus theta. We have our two families of solutions which we can combine into one. For the first family of solutions, we can write cos y as cos 2n plus y. So x is 2n plus y. Doing the same for second family of solutions, we get x equals 2n pi minus y. We don't have any odd even conditions like before, so we can just combine this with a plus minus. We can also use this subtraction to product identity of cos to derive this. This identity can be proved in the same way as we did before. To prove this, the idea is same as the previous. Replace x and y with these in the left hand side. Then use the identity of cos a plus b and cos a minus b to expand this. We will also need to use the property minus sine theta equals sine minus theta. Using that property, we obtain this equation. This equation tells us that either the first sign is 0 or the second sign is 0. I actually don't have to repeat it, you know when sign is 0. So when sin x plus y over 2 is 0, we get x equals 2n pi minus y. And when sin y minus x over 2 is 0, we get minus x equals 2n pi minus y. How do we combine these two? If you look carefully, we can combine these two if the signs of x minus y were flipped. Then why not flip it? Let's go back and multiply both sides by minus 1. In that way, we can change our equation to sin x minus y over 2 is 0. Solving for this, we get what we want. Now for tan x equals tan y. It's pretty simple if we know when tan function repeats. This is the graph of y equals tan x. If you take a point in the curve, the point in the curve having the same y coordinate repeats exactly after pi. So tan doesn't change after any multiples of pi. Therefore x equals to y plus n pi. Another way to derive this is by writing tan in terms of sine and cos. Then some algebraic manipulations. Then the identity of sin x minus y, and we have our answer. Now for sin x equals tan y. If we want to equate the inputs, then we should first have the same trigonometric function on both sides. If I wanted to write theta in sine function in some way, I could write theta as sine of sine inverse theta. We can think of theta as tan y and write the next step as sin x equals sine of sine inverse tan y. But instead of sine inverse, I will write sin x as tan of tan inverse sin x. This will give a simpler result. Remember the general solution of tan x equals tan y from previous? We can think of x as y here and y as tan inverse of sin x. Therefore our solution comes out to this.